Voice of the People 90.3 FM, your number one voice platform where you get to express yourself as best and logically as you can. My name is Esther Wachuku, and of course I want to say happy holidays to our Muslim faithfuls. If you have eaten ram, I'm sure when it's time to open the phone lines you will let me know. For some of us that have not eaten ram, some of us have not eaten ram in this studio, so if you're listening to us, you can actually send ram to us. We would like to eat the ram. But however, I hope you're enjoying the holiday. I hope you're eating well. I hope you're sharing and giving, because that's part of the concept of holidays like this. You're able to share and give and commune. All right. The political spotlight, we tend to shed light on political issues across every sector of the Nigerian economy. Beyond that as well, we actually intricately look into some of these issues as they pretend with us, as they have their own personal affiliation with us. And of course, we tend to bring in seasoned analysts, that is individuals within their respective professions who are very good in talking about issues within the national polity, to help us break down some of these concepts and some of the complexities within the sectors of the Nigerian economy. And like I always tell you on the program, our job here is literally to inform you, educate you, let you know the truth about what is going on, possibly explain whatever conspiracy theories may be out there in the economy or in our polity, and help you have a better understanding of what is going on, so you don't have a preconceived notion, or you don't have just ordinary talk that literally has no basis. So that's what we do right here on the VOP 90.3 FM, and basically too on the political spotlight. My name is Esther Wachuku. We actually stream this program on YouTube, so kindly go onto YouTube at this moment, sign up. It's VOP 90.3 FM, subscribe, and virtually be part of the conversation anywhere in the world that you can actually be part of it. And of course, follow me on social media at Esther Wachuku on X, Esther Wachuku on Instagram, that is Esther Waz on Instagram, ESTANWAZ, and on Twitter too, Esther Wachuku, on Facebook, Esther Wachuku. On YouTube is Estiq Media, that's ESTIQ MEDIA, Estiq Media on YouTube. So the Nigerian presidency, right, has strongly refuted claims made by the New York Times in a recent article which portrayed the Nigerian economy as undergoing its worst downturn in the generation. Now, you know that we just celebrated in a low-key format a Democracy Day, which was on June 12th, last week, Wednesday. And a lot of issues came up. A lot of summaries, columns were written, documentaries on Nigeria's economy, its 25 years of practicing democracy, and a lot of insight was given into this 1 year of President Bola Tinubu's administration. All right. Meanwhile, the report titled "Nigeria Confronts Its Worst Economic Crisis in a Generation" was published on June 12, and it drew significant attention for its critical stance. So, reacting to that particular publication, it is of course, it's suspected that Bayo Onanuga would react. That is the president's special advisor on information and strategy. And he described the report as a biased representation that continues a long trend of negative portrayals of African nations by Western media. Onanuga argued that the article offers a skewed narrative that unfairly blames the current economic difficulties solely on the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who only assumed office at the end of May 2023. The presidential aide emphasized that the economic challenges being faced were inherited from the previous administrations, countering the notion that they are a direct result of President Tinubu's policies. But you'll recall that the president during his campaign said he was going to continue from where his predecessor stopped. And so again, it's quite surprising to see Bayo Onanuga refuting that particular claim made by the Western media on its publication concerning Nigeria's economy. All right, so apparently Onanuga accused the New York Times piece of focusing exclusively on the negative aspects of the Nigerian economic situation without acknowledging the significant efforts made by both federal and state governments to mitigate these challenges through various policy measures. Onanuga also pointed out that the report failed to highlight any of the positive developments in the Nigerian economy or the remedial actions being undertaken. He stressed that the administration is committed to turning around the economic fortunes of the country through strategic interventions aimed at alleviating the impact of inflation and stabilizing the economy. So, according to him, this is his quote. He said the background on the policy direction taken by the government in May-June 2023, the abrogation of the fuel subsidy regime and the unification of the multiple exchange rates. According to the presidential aide, for decades, Nigeria had maintained a fuel subsidy regime that gulped $84.39 billion between 2005 and 2022 from the public treasury in a country with huge infrastructural deficits and in high need of better social services for its citizens. Now, again, I'm confused with this report. If fuel subsidy is completely gone, what about the 5-point-something trillion naira that Wale Edu, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, said was budgeted for this year 2024? We do know that there was no fuel subsidy. We'll actually be buying more than what we currently purchase fuel. Well, again, from the presidency's mouth, they're still maintaining the fact that fuel subsidy is no longer there. So let's go with that. Onanuga also alleged that the state oil firm NNPCL, the sole importer, had amassed trillions of naira in debts for absorbing the unsustainable subsidy payments in his book. I want to ask the question, is NNPC really for Nigerians? It's no longer a public corporation. All right? It is no longer a public corporation. It's now limited. So who are the stakeholders? Are Nigerians still stakeholders of NNPC? Do we still actually make decisions? Are we now? Do they take considerations of what Nigerians think about the policies within the NNPCL? There are certain persons who supposedly run that particular corporation. Do Nigerians actually have a stake? That's something we want to know, because when you say NNPCL, almost sounds like it's a corporation for Nigerians, but do Nigerians really make decisions within that corporation? A corporation that is now limited, meaning that there is certain sector persons who are in charge of it or who own it. So is it possible for it to continue to be called the NNPCL? Should it continue to be called that? Should it continue to be called Nigeria's oil firm? Well, I would like to know what you think, and when I call my analyst, I'm going to ask him that question. He said by the time Tinubu took over the leadership of the country, there was no provision made for fuel subsidy payments in the national budget beyond June 2023. There's quite a lot actually in this particular report that a lot of Nigerians would counter. There's also quite a lot that if we really want to look into this and break down, we may say that the administration or Bayo Onanuga is not consistent with some of the things he's saying. The president has said that he was going to continue from where his predecessor stopped. And you're coming to say that whatever is going on within the economy now is not the president's fault, but it's the fault of the previous administration. But you said you were going to resuscitate the economy. But in the last 1 year, whatever measures or policies you put in place doesn't seem to be helping matters. Inflation is on the rise. Food prices are so expensive. And then there are no palliative measures, no alternative measures. We have heard the alternative measures you said you were going to implement, but we haven't seen them. And just recently, the World Bank approved a loan, $2.8 billion, for this administration on its economic reforms. So, again, are we going to see a transparent auditing of how that money will be utilized? That's the question. Are we going to see that money being properly utilized in every sector, especially on the sector that has to do with Nigerians' welfare? Having to alleviate transportation, providing food security, that is one aspect. Shelter, food and clothing. Are we going to see that? Are we going to see, will that money help alleviate the stringent economic policies that does not help investors who are investing, that are strangulating manufacturing companies, that is already, some of them are already closing down? It's a major problem. A lot of companies have left the country within this administration. Some of them are selling off their shares and other people are buying over. Most companies that we know that have been resident for so many years, have set up their companies here for so many years, have closed up. And most of those products now will become very expensive. So if we corroborate what the presidency is saying and what is actually being seen, is there a tally? All right, we need to be quite objective when we talk about what is going on, or rather when we look at some of these things. Oh well, meanwhile, we have not gone outside minimum wage. Apparently, the minimum wage saga still continues. Governors are insisting they cannot go beyond 62,000, and SERAP has informed President Bola Tinubu that the proposed minimum wage recommendations are not realistic. SERAP is urging President Tinubu to ensure that any proposed bill regarding a new minimum wage for Nigerian workers aligns with Nigeria's international commitments to uphold workers' rights to a decent living wage. Trust me, the minimum wage that the governors are recommending, I don't think is realistic under this current economic dispensation. I don't think it even applies. It's definitely not going to get anywhere. It's important for the federal government to critically look into the conditions being set by labor and what they're asking for, and see if they can get to a common ground. They can get to a particular middle ground whereby both ends actually benefit from the negotiation or from whatever wage that the presidency would have to assent to. If labor is saying nothing beyond 250 something thousand, the governors are saying 62,000. Why? And then the president during his live broadcast said that, the federal government and labor has come to an agreement, and labor is refuting that claim, saying that they haven't come on any consensus. No consensus has been reached. So the question a lot of Nigerians are asking this administration is that, why do you say something and then we're not seeing what you are saying? Why do you make promises or make statements? Are you trying to grandstand? Because if you're making statements and making promises and you don't have an intention to fulfill them or to make them materialize, why make such promises? Why make such statements in the first place? These are the questions that a lot of Nigerians are asking. So again, you know that immediately after the 2023 elections, the political sphere became quite tense. And I must tell you that the 2023 elections witnessed what you would call a serious religious and ethnic divide. And post-election, we are still experiencing that. In fact, the back and forth is quite daunting. On June 12th, 2024, that was on Wednesday, we had an exclusive interview with Omoyele Sowore, and part of the conversations that we had with him was when we were talking about the policies of this administration, and he was able to give his own perspective to what he thinks. Unfortunately, on that very day, the president fell. He slipped while he was trying to enter his motorcade, one of the vehicles that was conveying him across the parade ground. And I remember asking Sowore, I said, this is what has happened to the president. It could be a mistake. Sowore said he's sick. I mean, he literally did not want to consider if the president may have made a mistake, if he slipped, it could happen to anybody. Others said it was his agbada that made him to trip off. Other people said, okay, maybe he wasn't seen. Others blamed the security around him for not walking ahead of him or properly guiding him, because possibly the president looks frail, so they could have helped him climb that particular vehicle. There were quite a lot of advice or recommendation that Nigerians gave that could have prevented that particular fall, because according to the president, he said he doesn't mind dobaleing for Nigeria. He will continue to dobale for Nigeria. He made a joke out of it, but there was something that made that particular fall trend. That day is a significant day. It's a pivotal day. It was not a good day for the president to have fallen like that, and I think that's why it generated the kind of rancor it did across the political sphere. All right, now, like I was talking about the post-election and how the ethnic and religious divide has stretched, that a couple of political elites who are not supporters of Peter Obi have always claimed that Peter Obi, specifically Daniel Bwala, he has referred or profiled obedience to be IPOB members. Also, Sowore said that Peter Obi is package fraud, and I asked him, why would you say such a thing? And he made reference to when he was Anambra State governor and supposed things he said were not realized that he was supposed to have done. And I recall that when that statement against Peter, what transpired and why Sowore made this reference. The African Action Congress presidential flag bearer in the 2023 election, Omoyele Sowore, sent a message to the former Director General of the Peter Obi 2023 presidential campaign organization, Doyin Okupe. Now, Doyin Okupe had earlier stated that President Bola Tinubu was the best presidential candidate in the 2023 elections. It's quite surprising for him the camp of the All Progressives Congress? Why were you not part of the president's support team? So what happened? What changed your mindset? What changed your orientation? Because you occupy between them and the time you stepped down and when you were ill, and now that you're already granting interviews. So apparently when that statement was made, it's generated heavy criticisms. Of course, it's expected that people would criticize him for what he said. Meanwhile, the politician claimed that 80% of those against his political view were from a particular ethnic group. There's meant to brotherhood and national unity. The new wave of bigotry will not undo the friendship already established, Okukwe wrote on X. So, Showore, of course, picked up on that particular post on X and reminded Okukwe about their discussion before the 2022. According to Showore, this is what he said. What did I tell you when you invited me to join your Bajue Movement Commission or the June 12 NRC saga? You see your life now? That's what Showore said. So the question now is, what exactly is about this particular political candidate who is a private citizen amongst his members? I have never seen him. What's his name? A Nobel laureate, Wale Soyinka, against the obedience, but a couple of people feel that the obedience are so insulted that anybody who doesn't align with their thought process or their view, they get to insult them. Is that true? Is that still happening now? Or is it a situation where you have somebody provokes you and you respond and you react? That's a statement, that's basically the concept. If somebody provokes you specifically on X, you know how it works. Somebody indirectly says something about you, and in a way the person is profiling you and you respond. So is it your response that everyone will pick on, or would it be the earlier taunt? And then we're done with the election. So why are we still having most of this ethnic rivalry, especially on social media? It is not encouraging at all. Okay, so these are the situations, these are the sequences. And one of the things that actually trended in the course of the week was, indeed, is Nigeria's democracy a democratic one? Have we been practicing democracy? According to Showore, he called it Morontocracy. According to Barrister Darlington, he called it autocracy. A couple of people had their different definition of the kind of democracy we actually practice. But I would like to hear from you at some point when we open the phone lines. What kind of democracy do you think will operate? Then we look at the president's economic policy making decisions. Now, again, like I was telling you earlier, just this Friday, the World Bank was able to approve a loan. In that particular loan, one of the things that was mentioned was the fact that the president talked about some projects that his administration has actually decided to acquire. That project is what a lot of Nigerians were asking questions on. This particular project the president is talking about, has the project in any way been talked about? Have we seen the implementation or the realization of this project? That's basically what a lot of Nigerians were asking. I want to read out precisely what that particular World Bank loan as it was approved and what it's designated for. The World Bank gave $2.25 billion to boost President Bola Tinubu's measures, which is aimed at economic stabilization and aiding vulnerable citizens. Now, we saw the same thing too in the previous administration. We haven't heard anything. Rather, there was a serious fraudulent activity that took place within the sector that was meant to disburse that fund to the vulnerable Nigerians, which is the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs at the time. Now, in a statement last night, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, that is on Thursday night, Wale Edun, revealed two significant financial support packages. According to them, they include $1.5 billion for the Nigeria reforms for economic stabilization to enable transformation. The acronym is called RESETS. That is what I'm telling you, the proposal that the federal government wrote in order to get the loan from the World Bank, which of course was eventually approved. Okay, another one is Development Policy Financing Program and $750 million for the Nigeria Accelerating Resource Mobilization Reforms. The acronym is called AMOR, and Program for Results. All right, that is also that what they call the other aspect. So they broke down the $2.25 billion. The first tranche of it, according to the to the proposal written by the federal government to acquire that loan, is that 1.5 billion is for Nigeria's reforms for economic stabilization to enable transformation, that is reset, development policy financing program, and $750 million for the Nigeria Accelerated Resource Mobilization Reforms Program for Resource, as P4R. So, according to the statement, the combined total of $2.25 billion will offer essential financial and technical support as the government continues to address economic distortions. There's a lot of economic distortions. The president at the time said that the fuel subsidy removal, the monies that will be acquired from the removal of fuel subsidy, that is what would be used to mitigate the effect or cushion the effect of that subsidy removal. So where is the money from the subsidy removal? What is the money being used for? Is the money for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway? What initiative have we seen that they would say resonates with the money that has been taken off from that? That is a fuel subsidy that was removed. Where is the money being utilized? Where is it being implemented? Nobody has given us an official report of that, and it's quite a problem. So these again are the questions that a lot of Nigerians will ask and are asking, and which makes them not to trust this administration. One would have expected, with the whole drama that encompassed the president during the campaign before the Supreme Court declared him as the winner of the 2023 elections, one would have thought that this administration would have worked on image rebranding, which is eliciting the trust of Nigerians, creating a sense of transparency. Maybe not 100% transparency, but again, we're not seeing that. There's a difference with what is being said and what is being experienced. Like I said, it's quite a lot that is being talked about in that regard. So let's head on to another pressing matter that's actually taken the space, or rather has occupied the political landscape. One of them is concerning the factional secretary of Ohaneze Ndibo, Okechukwu Izeguzoro, calling on fellow Igbo brethren to direct their grievances towards the Southeast governors and leaders rather than President Bola Tinubu regarding the deteriorating security situation in the region. Ohaneze said the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu and the refusal of his release from the Department of State Services was the actual cause of insecurity in the zone. In the statement, of course, on Sunday in Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, it had come to light that Southeast governors and certain Igbo leaders have not provided the essential assurances required to explore political resolutions for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. The statement noted the crucial need for unity and cooperation among Southeast governors and esteemed Igbo personalities such as Chief Emeka Anyoku, also Ebutu Ukiwe, Senator Ike Nwachukwu, and others in providing the federal government with assurances regarding Nnamdi Kanu's future conduct post-release. He said it appears that some Southeast governors and Igbo elites have chosen to exploit Nnamdi Kanu's detention for personal gain, political bargaining, and the pursuit of political relevance. Is that what it is? Is that the experience that a lot of Nigerians are going through with? Okay, so he told the region, he told members within the region, told Southeasterners to hold the Southeast governors responsible, to hold the Igbo elders, National Assembly members, and traditional leaders accountable for the extended detention of Nnamdi Kanu and refrain from laying blame on the federal government or President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm going to be asking Barrister Darlington that question. Does he think so, that like what Izeguzoro is saying, the factional secretary of Ohaneze Ndibo, that it indeed is true that there are some individuals within the political sphere or within the southeastern region using the continued incarceration or detention of Nnamdi Kanu for political gains, for grandstanding, for getting favors for themselves, and that we should hold our traditional leaders and also the Southeast governors accountable for his continued detention? Well, Nnamdi Kanu will be appearing in court on June 19, and apparently one of the focal point of his case is to see if he can be released on bail, either to be placed under house arrest or be transferred to Kuje prison. And so I think that particular day would maybe Tuesday or Wednesday this week that we'll be going into at the moment. So I think then he will appear in court, and then we get to know what exactly the mandate or the fallout will be. Meanwhile, too, just on Friday or on Thursday, there were rumors that he had escaped from DSS custody, and of course that story was actually untrue. Where it came from, where it emanated from, it was just on Facebook. Somebody just randomly made that statement that he had escaped from DSS custody, and that elicited quite a lot of reactions and response, because a lot of persons said, if that is the case, it means that anything could happen to him. There may now be a reason to hurt him for whatever reason it may be. But Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer has said he will not escape. He will stay online. He will stay in course. He will follow through with the judicial process of his case. So when reports begin to come in like this, of course, it begins to make statements. Aloy Jimako has complained that there are elements, all right, within the Southeast, whenever it is that Nnamdi Kanu is to appear in court, that these elements decide to take it upon themselves to create mayhem, to create a certain volatility within the Southeast region, and this affects whatever his bail hearing. It actually affects his bail hearing, and he called them criminals. This was the alarm he raised just concerning the profiling. I recall that during the interview I had with Omoyele Sowore on June 12th, he made the same statement when he talked about Peter Obi, and he talked about the supporters of Peter Obi, that they attack, they abuse, they insult, especially if you do not have, if your thought process or your idea or your decision does not tally with them. Is that actually true? He has made that complaint. Even Asari Dokubo too, in a recent Facebook post, made that statement about Southeasterners, and he actually made some threats. I would like you to listen to what Asari Dokubo said in that particular Facebook live broadcast when he was talking about the Southeasterners. I want us to quickly take a listen to what he said, and I hope the audio is very good too.
Demanding for coastal roads, even before Tinubu became president. And if Tinubu had gone to start the coastal road, then every well-meaning Southern, especially Jaws, will 100% support this coastal road. That is it. Why does Southeasterners go into frenzy, become hateful when they hear anything that benefits South? I really don't believe in whatever they call South or whatever. No. I'm an Ijoma. But why? We must ask this question. Why this hate? And then you want, first and foremost, see, let me tell you people, you cannot overrun South. You cannot subjugate us. If you try, we will overrun you. You already know that we are capable of overrunning you. Why this hate? And people will say it's not everybody that you reply when they say something. These are very fundamental issues. The South needs this road. And it's an all-important road. And Nigeria had been losing a lot for not having a road on the coast like Benin Republic, like Togo, like Ghana, like Cote d'Ivoire, like Sierra Leone, etc. You travel along the coast. Nigeria is the only exception. And it was deliberate. It was deliberate to punish the South.
Alright, that was Asari Dokubo in a recent Facebook post where he was talking about the Southeasterners and saying, actually claiming that there are some places in rivers that actually speak Hebrew, but that, you know, the rivers that is the South can overwhelm the Southeast if it gets to that point. So the question is, what is causing that kind of statement? and why that kind of profiling? Of course, Daniel Bola is not excluded from that kind of profiling. According to Daniel Bola, he actually said that most obedients are members of the indigenous people of Biafra and also their apologists. He stated that the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has no history or record of democratic credentials throughout his life. And this was via a monitor television program that took place on Channels TV on Friday. Yes, on Friday morning during the morning brief. According to him, he constantly attacks Obi and obedience on social media platforms as a form of self-defense against alleged bullying by obedience. Now, he is not the only person who is making such a reference. Omoyele Sowore said the same thing. Of course, Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka said the same thing. And a couple of political elites who have not of the Labour Party have made such a statement. So the question is, why is it seeming like the call is on a particular ethnic group or profile in a particular ethnic group to be so aggressive? So Bola berated obedience for always attacking and abusing those who don't agree with them on issues concerning Peter Obi and the Nigerian presidency. And one of the presenters or anchors of the program asked him, "It seems you are obsessed with Peter Obi." Also, Reno Mokri, there have been statements to the fact that they are obsessed with him. And his response was that, "I am not obsessed with Peter Obi. First of all, Peter Obi is not an issue right now in government. The president is sitting on the saddle. Even the person who came second was not Peter Obi. What I do as a private citizen, having my rights, is what we call the right of self-defense. There are a set of people who believe that this country cannot make progress unless their wishes are forcefully pushed down the throats of the Nigerian people." He went ahead to say they are the ones that come on all social media handles and gallivant like sheep without shepherd. He said they abuse people, they accuse people. During this democratic period, they come on various platforms to accuse people on their democratic credentials. So again, the presenter asked, doesn't this reek of you being obsessed about this group? All the time you've made statements about this group. The same thing too with Sowore and of course Wole Soyinka and other political elites who do not support the Labour Party 2023 presidential candidate. Like I said, there's quite a lot that is going on in the polity. But beyond all of this, the one question that is in the mind of everyone supposedly is, when will things become a little better? Because if people cannot access food because they do not have the financial capacity to purchase food items, then what happens to the young labor market? If companies can no longer continue to sustain themselves, then they will close down. Electricity tariff, of course, the rate at which companies now pay for electricity is nothing to write home about, and it should be one of the sectors that should continue to be subsidized, but the government is not looking at it. According to the Minister of Power, he said that if they continue to subsidize electricity, it may take almost 10 years for them to recoup. I remember when he made that statement and he got a lash or a criticism. He got criticism from a lot of Nigerians on the statement that he made. So again, we're bringing this back home. At this point in time, beyond the politics, although we know the politics is one of the decision-making factors, right? How is this administration going to help? How are they going to make adequate, implementable, foreseeable policies that will strengthen the Nigerian economy? Literally, you cannot eat. You can't buy things. They have become so expensive. I recall just this Friday, those who wanted to get the ram for their holiday said they couldn't buy it because it was so expensive. And there have been other alternative means for people to find food to eat. They've been looking for other alternatives to eat food. So this administration has a lot to do, or better areas to focus when it has to do with the people. And it's important that they do that as soon as possible. Beyond the back and forth on what Bola Tinubu did, or what Peter Obi did, or what Atiku Abubakar did, there are vital questions that are being asked, and it's important for these questions to be responded to. Having to work on the ethnic division of the Nigerian polity at the time, or focus on that, shouldn't be the conversation, because the economy at this moment affects everyone, not just one person. It affects everyone, indeed. All right, so it's not proper for the polity to continue to be heated up. Now, insecurity is on the rise. Apparently, last week or so, Boko Haram were trying to recruit members in Borno State, and they actually put together a program where they will give these people food items and other palliative measures to supposedly seduce them to join their sect. Not only that, they also went to a community too in the north, took about 20 persons, shot 10 and beheaded 10. According to them, they refused to join their group. These things are happening in broad daylight, and the question that has been asked is, what is the federal government's concentration to this, and how do they intend to evoke that gavel to ensure that insecurity does not continue brazenly? And are they actually utilizing this? Are there elements within the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu who are financing this particular aspect? Because the brazenness with which these criminals or terrorists continue in this manner speaks volumes, and it beholds the question: is it that the administration or the Nigerian military cannot tackle this? Is it that they're overwhelmed or underwhelmed? What happened to all the military machinations that have been approved to support the Nigerian military in this fight against insecurity? Does this mean that this is a means for monies to continue to be collected? There's a lot of questions that needs to be answered. Meanwhile, Ohaneze Ndigbo leader Chief Emmanuel Nwanyanwu fell ill after visiting Nnamdi Kanu in detention. So apparently, while he went to visit Nnamdi Kanu in DSS detention center, the meeting at the DSS headquarters took place on the 30th of May, while the Ohaneze leader has been bedridden 2 days after till June 12th. The Director General of Igbo Mandate Congress, Reverend Obinna Akukwe, disclosed this on Thursday in Abuja during a closed-door meeting with leaders of the group. He said that the sudden illness of Chief Nwanyanwu, when efforts are ongoing with a special task force for the release of Nnamdi Kanu to move the political solution to the next level, sparks of a hidden agenda. According to him, he said it is suspicious that Ndigbo lost 4 Ohaneze leaders in 2 years, all diagnosed of the same illness. According to Akukwe, Igbos lost President Generals of Ohaneze Ndigbo, Dr. Joe Iruku, Professor Ben Nwabweze, Dr. Dozie Ikedife, Colonel Joe Achuzia, Professor George Obiozo, Chief Mbazulike Amechi, and Dr. Chukwuemeka Ezife within the space of 2 years. And he called for covert investigations on why top Igbo leaders are dying in quick succession, and alleged that it is an attempt to destroy all intellectual-oriented Igbo leaders so that charlatans, kidnappers, and ritualists will take over. So, the Chief Nwanyanwu went to visit Nnamdi Kanu in custody, and after that visit he fell ill. Could it just be a coincidence? Could it just be an ordinary matter and nothing to be attributed to it? When he went there, did he eat anything? Did he eat anything whatsoever? All right, did he eat anything? So these are the questions they need to check out. What did he eat? Who did he speak with? Who did he touch? And these are important questions to actually ask in that regard. I want to call my analyst, who will be sharing his own perspective on some of the issues that will be discussed on this particular platform, the Political Spotlight, and that is Barrister Darlington. Now, one of the questions I want to ask Barrister Darlington is the fact that post-election and after the Democracy Day, which took place on June 12th, what then is the solution to Nigeria's situation? What is the first thing that the president should actually work on to activate the economy? Now he's been granted the World Bank loan, which is about $2.25 billion. So how soon are we going to see the implementation of that loan? How fast will we see that loan being implemented? How soon? What is the process of that loan being properly utilized? Because if he says he wants to sustain the economy, he wants to revitalize it and want to stabilize the economy, how soon do they intend to use this fund for? And then the question is, where is the fuel subsidy removal? They said they're removing subsidy, right? So where's the subsidy removal money, and what is it being used for? When would they give us an accountability or a transparent auditing of that particular money? Barrister Darlington, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the Political Spotlight.
Yes, Esther, how are you today?
I am fine. Thank you, Barrister Darlington, for joining us.
You didn't wish me Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Barrister Darlington. Happy Father's Day to you.
Since I'm the one begging you for it, you bring gifts too.
Happy Father's Day, Barrister Darlington. It's true, the president even did celebrate Father's Day. Barrister Darlington, I want to ask you a question. And one of the first questions I want to ask you is the fact that the presidency just responded. There was a report, all right, by the New York Times saying that Nigeria's economy is the worst to have happened in generations. And they said the situation with the Nigerian economy is so bad that it has recorded the worst downturn in a generation. The report was titled "Nigeria Confronts Its Worst Economic Crisis in a Generation." As usual, Bayo Onanuga was quick to defend that, and he said that particular publication was biased and not true, and it's a misrepresentation that continues a long trend of negative portrayal of African nations by Western media. So, this particular New York Times report on Nigeria's economy, according to Bayo Onanuga, is untrue and is misrepresenting the facts. And he says that the report or the narrative, the story or the narrative offers a skewed development, an unfair analysis of the current economic difficulties being experienced in the nation. According to him, he's saying that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu inherited a dead economy. What would you say with Bayo Onanuga's response to that particular article by the New York Times?
The chicken has come home to roost.
Okay.
You know, lie cannot hide, and truth cannot equally hide. It is left for you to just suppose the lie and the truth and see which one is the reliable one to choose. All these shenanigans about rebuilding the economy and all that, it is all lies, falsehood. You cannot give what you don't have. If it is a lie that Tinubu is trying to do whatever, why is he borrowing money? Answer, do you know that money was gotten through blackmail?
What money was gotten through blackmail, Barrister Darlington?
It was gotten through blackmail. The day they approved that loan was the same day. The same day the finance executive were released. They were released. All the counts withdrawn by the federal government. You saw all the efforts they made to bring those people here to justice. All of a sudden, that same day, they were released. Not even conditional bail. They were released. All the counts withdrawn. Their attorney general withdraw their criminal case. That same day that loan was obtained. And you remember, Esther, go and quote me, the day the still lawmakers from America wrote a letter to Biden, telling Biden to speak to Tinubu. I told you here that Joe Biden will never talk to Tinubu. I told you, but Tinubu will release these people. Go and bring that interview. I said it to you here. I said it. Without even consulting anything, I knew what was going to happen, and it happened. It was going through blackmail. Why did they release those people? Tell me, have the government explained anything to us? Are we not supposed to know why you release them? But to Nigerian citizens who did not do anything, you incarcerate them. What are you telling me? This economy is being run by IMF and World Bank and the United States. I told you from day the Tinubu won this election that he will continue to please the Western world in order to remain in power. I told you. You don't know what is going on. Why did he release those people? After telling us all the economic sabotage they have committed in Nigeria. Because of loans. So somebody can sell the entire Nigeria because of money. And so you can see where we are. You sold all of us because of money. Hold on, though. The loan they are going to obtain, where the jet, the private jet they want to, the presidential jet they want to, was it included in all the places they want to spend the money on?
No, it wasn't included. It was Nigeria reforms for economic stabilization to enable transformation.
I don't want to hear that. We have been hearing it long ago. This is stabilization what? After the oil subsidy was removed, no economy was stabilized. It is when you now go and borrow money that you now stabilize the economy. Esther. Can you just imagine? You and I was told here that removing the subsidy will mean that they will not borrow money. They use the money to do this, to do that. So if the first subsidy remover did not solve the problem, it is now when you go and borrow money that generations will pay, that will not stabilize the economy. Which economy will be stabilized? Enter quit economy. This economy, it is not possible. It is all lies and falsehood. Propaganda at the highest level. Look at this. How do you explain all this is forgotten? How? Look, whenever I'm telling you something, go to back to this. I told you what will happen with finance, and it happened.
Yeah, it did happen.
It happened.
You said so.
Yes, I told you. So whatever this man is doing, we know him. I told you that a snake will always be long. You see this thing that they are accusing P2B and Igbos and obedience. Else, go and check. These are what? Sponsored propagandists. APC is good at this. Else, you and I know that the Igbo man, the average Igbo man, is too busy with his business. He doesn't have time for all these shenanigans. Where did they see that the obedient are the one sending text message and all that? Do they have time? Hold on. You mean all the members of obedient are Igbos? Is that what you're telling me? You can see. These people are saying the propagandists. That is why they are talking from both sides of their mouth, including people who should know better. Esther, please. They claim that obedient are this and that. During the election, you saw what happened. You saw how the same obedience we are bullied. They were beaten blue and black in this Lagos. The same obedience to Esther. Did any of them reply in the answer? Since we are very aggressive, since we are very violent, Esther, did you hear that anybody in the Southeast picked up anybody who is not for a Labour Party or who did not vote for P2B? But it happened here in Lagos. These propagandists who are fake propagandists who don't know what is going on, they didn't see all those ones. They did not see it, or they did not. Voila did not see what happened in Lagos here. Every time, P2B, Igbos. Is it not a shame? You left the lump of food in your eyes and you are picking up a small speck in my own eyes. Why? At what time did Igbos become aggressive for God's sake? If they are very, very aggressive, my dear, nobody will treat them the way they are treating them. They will not try it because they know they will react. But look at all the insult the Igbos are receiving in Nigeria. Especially what happened in the director. One Shenka did not see it. Choda did not see it.
But Doyin Okukwe, who was actually Barrister Darlington, Doyin Okukwe, who was the campaign DG of the of Peter Obi and that is the Obi Datu movement. According to him, he made mention of the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the best president that Nigeria has ever witnessed. In fact, he's the best presidential candidate within the APC. That's what he said. So if you could make that reference, why did he not work for the APC at the time? And then according to him, when he made that statement, he said 80% of those insulting him are from a particular ethnic group. He did not say what ethnic group, but you can actually understand whom he is profiling.
Please, where is the look? You see, since they are talking of ethnic profiling, Esther, when you talk of betrayal and tribal politics, who started it? It started here in the Southwest by Awolowo. And since that time till now, it has been in their DNA. Where is Doyin Okukwe from? Is it not from the Southwest here? Let them go and look at the history of their politics and let me know who is a betrayer.
But in his defense, he said that he's a nationalist and that during the general elections, he supported a candidate from the Southeast against one from his own region.
Esther, please. There is no need. The only reason why these people have gone on for too long against the propaganda against Igbo is because we have been too quiet. We don't reply. We just mind our business. And because of that, these people are taking advantage of that to be insulting us anyhow. Let them tell us that thing that Igbos have done wrong in Nigeria. Nobody has been able to tell you. Every time Igbos, P2B, Labour Party. Why? After all the things they did to the Igbos and we kept quiet, nobody recognizes it. Every time they will be saying, you want to impose this Bola who is talking, is it not from the north?
Yes, Kanu Bola.
From the north. The chief of terrorism in Nigeria. Is it not Bola and his fellow northern leader who went to go and bring terrorists into this country to impose their will on us? Now he's talking that some people want to impose their will on Nigeria. Can you imagine the contradiction? Esther, can you imagine? I was praying one day that I'll meet any of them in the studio. Let us discuss this issue. And Instead of you to address it, you are calling the Igbos. For what? This was why some people carried out school in 1966. They shifted it to Igbos. Cleverly, they shifted it to the Igbos. Can you imagine? Thank God, people have written novels. They have written books on that coup. They have written books on what happened. And the truth has come out. Yet the shame will not allow them to admit it. This instruction they are talking about today was it not what Ojukwu proposed in 1967? The same people killed it. They killed it, or they killed it. Now they are struggling to go back to it, but they have not recognized the Igbos. It was Professor Wansu who told us about June 12th. Nobody would have known if that man had played the realm of this particular INEC chairman. I am telling you, nobody would have mentioned Abiola Smith because he would have been agreeing with the military to give over that victory. He would have done it. He has the power to do it. But Wansu refused. Professor Wansu, up to today, have anybody recognized him as that? Has anybody mentioned Wansu as the hero of June 12th? You can imagine how these people deliberately try to come, we kept quiet. I don't even know what people are doing. What kind of thing is this? Nobody has recognized Professor Wansu up to today. It's all about Abiola, who they sacrifice. They sacrifice Abiola. They sacrifice him to be where they are today. And nobody's talking about it. Every time Igbos. Tell me what they have done. Nobody has been able to tell me. I don't know why. You will let the problem you are causing in Nigeria and you are blaming the Igbos. All the things you have been saying and doing to the Igbos are very retaliated for one thing. When their offer said that if the Igbos did not vote against it, all of them will drop in there like this. Did you hear any of the traditional rulers replying in the Southeast? Did you threaten anybody in the Southeast? Why are people so forgetful for God's sake? Why? Esther, why? This is very painful for God's sake. Very, very painful. Look at the people who are destroying Nigeria. They are not calling them. Was it the Igbos that kept Nigeria where it is today? Was it Igbos? But from the last administration to this one now, I don't the Igbos. They left the real issue and they are contributing to the Igbos. To tell you how dubious, how mischievous these people are.
But Barrister Darlington, you know that Democracy Day evoked quite a lot of conversation across board. We started to look at previous administrations under the democratic dispensation, the presidents and the economy at the time. And a lot of comparisons was made between the dispensation of former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan and then in 2015 when former President Muhammadu Buhari emerged and now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What I'm trying to talk about is the fact that according to ex-President Jonathan, he said that our judiciary is what is affecting our democracy. According to him, he says that because the judiciary has always made themselves open for politicians to influence, that it has continued to truncate our democracy. However, the Yoruba Council replied former President Jonathan and said that it is not the judiciary that is damaging Nigeria's democracy, but INEC. Hassan Dotun refuted former President Goodluck Jonathan's claim that the judiciary is undermining Nigeria's democracy. Dotun asserted that the real issue lies with the lack of independence within the Independent National Electoral Commission. He emphasized that INEC's operations are compromised due to its subordination to the president. Which brings me back to my question. Again, if INEC as an institution is meant to be independent, whoever it is that heads that particular institution is not meant to be somebody nominated by the executive because the person can be due to be influenced. Is it possible that whoever heads that institution, possibly whoever would decide who becomes the head, should not come from the executive but possibly the people? Is it possible for something like that to happen?
Esther, let us call it a spade. The problem of our democracy is the judiciary. You know why the Yoruba people say that thing? Because the man who just left Ariwola presided over that dubious and fraudulent election results. Ariwola was the one who presided over it. He was the one. So what are you now telling me? The person there now is equally a Yoruba man who told you he does not know Nnamdi Kanu. He cannot even recognize him. But it's the same man now that left people, left foreigners who have sabotaged the economy. He's the one that withdraw their case and ask them to go home. He's the one that asked Sunday to go home. It is the same people. You can imagine cleverly. They'll be pushing their infamy to you. They'll be telling you how good they are. You are the only one that is bad. Meanwhile, they have a very checkered history. I am holding it on my palms here. Their history. Their history of what they have done. Everything they will push it to somebody. It is not their problem. Can you just imagine? Please let me ask you, is the INEC more powerful than the judiciary? Are you telling me that whatever infraction INEC committed during the election, is it not the judiciary that will correct it? The answer, please tell me. Is it not the judiciary that will tell INEC, this thing you did is wrong, we are cancelling this election? Will INEC do anything to them? Are you telling me that if the Supreme Court had done the needful, things would have been like this by now? Why is everybody calling INEC?
So what are you saying? Are you saying that INEC has no role to play here? Because, for example, before the matter gets to court, it could be okay.
The role he played, fine. Hold on. He played an infamy role. But somebody should not heap all the blame on INEC. The judiciary did worse than INEC. It is the judiciary that announced Tinubu as the winner, not INEC. It is the judiciary. After all, whatever INEC did, went to court.
Barrister Darlington, if you say the judiciary announced the president as the winner, who announced the president as the winner first before the matter went to the judiciary? Was it not INEC?
Whatever INEC did was subject to debate. It was subject to litigation. And it went to the highest court. President Obama. So why are they telling that it's not the judiciary? Was it not Aiduwa when he was leaving? He told us that the judiciary is bad. The man said it himself. He said it himself that the judiciary is corrupt. He said it. So who is defending them now? Is it not obvious? They said that all the records they brought from CSU, they didn't say that it's wrong. They didn't say that it's not true, but they said it came late. What does that tell you? No, it came late. Therefore, we should move on with infamy. We should move on with fraud. Imagine if an Igbo man had the type of record the Tinubu have. Imagine what this Southwesterner would have been talking by now. We don't even accept him as their president. They will not. Answer, they will not. What are you telling me? They will not.
So which Barrister Darlington, this brings me to the question I asked you earlier. I said, is it possible that the executive will not play any role in adjudicating who becomes in charge of the Independent National Electoral Commission? The idea is to ensure that there will be undisputed conclusions of elections, whereby elections are conducted objectively in a neutral manner. There will be no sway from the executive. There will be no bribe from the judiciary or any of the politicians or political candidates who are campaigning. So the question now is, must that institution's head be a nominee from the presidency? The fact that the head of that institution is already a nominee from the presidency, doesn't that already adulterate the effectiveness in the conduct of elections with that institution or by that institution? That's the question.
Esther,
Sir?
let us even downplay the role of INEC here.
Okay.
Let us downplay it. These other people who disenfranchise Igbos in Lagos, who's talking about them? Please, who is talking about them? All the matters went to Supreme Court. It ended up at the Supreme Court. Who was the final arbiter? It was the Supreme Court. Who we are hoping will do the needful. If the Supreme Court had done the needful, it will have to correct all this rubbish from INEC. Maybe the next election and subsequent INEC chairman, they will not sit up. But the things the judiciary sold out, only to start talking from both sides of their mouth, telling us how politicians we are bullying them, how politicians we are pressurizing them, how politicians was intimidating them. Is that what you're supposed to say? Answer. A former U.S. president is being prosecuted in the U.S. today by the judiciary of that country. Can it ever happen here? Why didn't they blame the electoral umpire? When they want to declare, I will not join them. Even if the one that did not come before me, I will slug it out with them. They can't do it. All this life is what they have sold to you and I. Gullible Nigerians, and they will buy it every time. INEC. The judiciary who's supposed to correct INEC, did they do so? Hold on, did they do so? Imagine if the judiciary had told INEC, look, this thing we did is wrong. We are not taking this result. Simple. The matter would have ended. So why did they do the needful and you are blaming INEC? They know what they are doing. Tell me that in the judiciary shows that, especially under Ariwola, who have introduced nepotism in the judiciary. Is that not corruption of this one? Appointing all your family members into something that has never happened. So what are you now saying? They didn't see all those ones, Abi? No, they didn't see it because it is their kinsmen. It's their kinsmen. Now it's no longer a Yoruba, it is now an Hausa man. You can imagine. Very tribalistic. We know how much we have suffered for these people. Over time, it's on record. What have they given to us? What have they given to us? When it matters most, the Southwest is sold out. They will sell out against us. And then if upon that they'll be insulting us again. For what? Look at all the sacrifice you have made. Yes, they don't recognize it. Anytime any of our person come up for anything, they will start insulting him. They'll start insulting him. Mention any time P2B have said anything against Tinubu or any of the Southwestern leaders. Just mention once. The people that are on social media, where is the guarantee that all of them are obedient and they are Igbos? Where is the guarantee? Did they write the obedient? Did they write Igbos on their forehead? These are people that the FTC are sponsoring to create enmity between P2B and the rest of the country. And gullible people you cannot even see it. Can't you look at the behavior of people, man? Has it time for all this nonsense? People have no time. Esther, if we have time, we would have been giving it to them, fire for fire. But we don't. What happened in Lagos, is that not a very good lesson? We would have been replying them in the Southeast now. Don't you have your bus in the Southeast? Don't you have our bus in the Southeast? Why didn't you start retaliating from there? Instead of them to be praising us for the way we behave in Nigeria, we are the most beautiful ethnic group in Nigeria. Instead of them to emulate us and encourage us, all they do is insult us, just to provoke us. Can you just imagine? They want people to change their lifestyle. We will never go into the mud with them. We will never. All this insult. This young career Asari Dokubo who is speaking for both sides of his mouth. Let me see whether he will be allowed to see that coastal road complete. Let me know whether that coastal road, Asari Dokubo will see the end of it. He not claim that we are the one. So, Atiku did not complain about that coastal road, Daddy. Other people from Nigeria, they did not complain about it. It is only people that complain about it. Even some Yorubas here, some people, they complain about it. It is only the people that complain about it. You can imagine that narrative. Esther, you can imagine that narrative every time.
Barrister Darlington.
Look at him. He was the one that promised 50% derivation from oil and they sabotaged the answer because of that. Now, where is the 50%?
Barrister Darlington.
They want to go ask for that 50% from Abacha. What happened to them? They don't need to even see the end of it. Asari Dokubo does not even know. If he does not know where he stands, let him go to Nigerian pilot of 1960. October 12th, 1960, 11 days after our independence. Let him go there. He will see what the Kaduna said about them. Maybe that will make him to keep quiet. Since he doesn't know his history. He's talking about the Igbos. You will overrun who? Why didn't you overrun the federal mind when they came over there? You will overrun the Igbos.
Barrister Darlington.
All of a sudden now, because they are building coastal road for you. And you think that you will end in the next year whether they will finish building it. Okay.
Barrister Darlington, on November 8th, there was a report that the federal government generated 1.45 trillion naira from subsidy removal. Meanwhile, that is what the federal government had disclosed, that they have so far saved about 1.45 trillion naira earnings generated from the removal of subsidy on premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, between the month of June and September 2023. And this was based on, according to the FAC allocation document obtained from the website of the Nigeria Governors Forum and National Bureau of Statistics. The analysis shows that funds remitted monthly to the non-oil revenue account of the government received the sum of 696.93 billion naira in June last year, 389.7 billion naira in July, and 71 billion naira in August, 289 billion naira in September. So if the federal government has been able to make these proceeds immediately after fuel subsidy removal was announced on May 29 last year, where is the money? Where have they implemented it? Why have things increased more than 500% on food items, transportation costs?
Esther, these questions you are asking me, I have told you, you don't know who is in charge. Esther, by their fruits we shall know them. How did they run Lagos when they were here in Lagos? Esther, Lagos, the IGR of Lagos is the IGR of 26 states in Nigeria. So where is the money? Look around Lagos, look around it. We are talking of almost 75 billion every month. Where is the money?
That's why I'm asking you, because if the federal government wrote to the World Bank, they wrote a proposal on the money they needed to borrow and what they needed to use it for. So the question is, this fuel subsidy removal proceeds, where is it going? And why are we not getting an update for it? I remember when the president was inaugurated, he set up an economic team headed by Wale Edu. The plan was for Wale Edu to come up with a solution to resolving or cushioning the fuel subsidy removal crisis, because everything exponentially increased. The Economic Planning Committee at the time, they brought out some sustainables or subsidies, which was when states were sharing some rice and pasta and all of that across several local governments. After a while, it stopped. They didn't continue with that. They said they were going to give states some amount of money to help. At the time, they also said that state governments could slash transportation costs, especially in Lagos. I remember that when the state government said transportation costs has been slashed, but it wasn't implemented. So the question is, if the federal government has been able to attain loan from the World Bank of $2.25 billion, what about the money being generated from the removal of fuel subsidy? What are they using it for? And how are we still experiencing exponential increase across every sector, Barrister Darlington?
Each time you ask this question, I really sympathize with you. That means you don't even know what is going on under your nose.
All right. Tell me since I don't know.
Nigerians, hold on. These are the most important questions Nigerians ask, but nobody asking it. You know why?
Why?
It is either those who are supposed to be talking. They are getting caught from this money. That's why some of them have remained criminally silent. They will never talk about these issues because they are getting caught from this money. And that is what the man in the helm of affairs does. He uses money to buy his way through. And if it is his own money, I won't bother myself. But in public funds, we have seen it all over again. We have seen it. Why have Nigerians not asking this pertinent question? Have I not been asking about these questions? Have I not? Rather, they will leave it and be pushing people to be and obedient people, as if they are the problem of Nigeria. Somebody like Wole Soyinka, is it not supposed to ask Tinubu, I heard you borrowed 20 trillion naira in 1 year. Please, what did you do with the money? Can you give us breakdown? Let us know where you put those money you borrowed. I mean, and you are still borrowing more. Is that not something we're supposed to be asking? Yes, people kept quiet because somehow the money is getting to them. That is not the only reason, nothing else. He knows how to use the money to silence opposition. He knows. But because the Igbo man like P2B, remember when they were begging him to come in? Remember when they were pleading with P2B to come into their fold? P2B resisted. Is that not why he's getting all these embarrassing statements? You can imagine. That is the only reason, nothing else. Every other person has been, including Okube, who is speaking from both sides of his mouth. If P2B have allowed him to remain in a Labour Party, which is corruption, P2B would have been a good man. You can imagine that. So that's what they are doing, which Nigerians do not understand. Where is the money going to? You borrow 20 trillion naira. You will not pay that money until you leave office. So who is going to pay it? Who is going to pay it? You want to repair an economy? Yes, you are making it worse. You are making it worse. So the money you are asking for, Esther, it is in their hands. So they are waiting for 2027. You will not know how to spend money. You will not know that they know how to spend money. What are you telling me? Whenever there is a presidential election, I hear people campaigning for funds, crowdfunding and all that. Can you tell me that person that funded Tinubu's election? Did you hear any time that somebody gave Tinubu 1 naira for his election? Answer me. Where did he get the money? Hold on, where did he get the money for his election? Can you mention one factory, Tinubu built, that is manufacturing something like Dangote or Atiku? Can you show me one factory that Tinubu owns that is manufacturing something? All these things are not issues. The Southwest, they did not see all those things. Imagine if it's a rich man. You know what would have happened? The Lagos Ibadan they would have woken up.
But Barrister Darlington, let me ask you something. Is it possible that too much was expected from the president in this 1 year? For Bayo Onanuga to have responded the way he responded by saying that the administration inherited a dead economy. But do you think Nigerians believed the president so much during his campaign with what he said he was going to do to revitalize the economy? So do you think the expectation was so much that since Nigerians did not see him delivering that, then of course this is where the clapback is coming from? So did the president overpromise and underdeliver?
No. You see, this is time to reply to Wore. So let's say that B2B was a packet fraud. Then how can you explain these things that they told us about Tinubu? He said he was the most prepared person.
That was Doyin Okukwe, who said he's the best presidential candidate for 2023. Yes.
Look, they even told us that he has been preparing for this thing for the past 30 years. Please, somebody that is ready for leadership. Is that how he behaves? The Lagos Ibadan press to package Tinubu. They were funded to package Tinubu. And they saw the same dooming they saw to us during Buhari. The result is what you are seeing today. Some of us who refuse to be bought over, we said no, we didn't see anything he did in Lagos. How can he not perform at Abuja?
All right, Barrister Darlington, again, let's come back, because at the moment Nigeria's GDP is being thought to be raised to 1.5 trillion. You know, the federal government is thinking of rebasing Nigeria's gross domestic product to $1.5 trillion. But let's come back home to what is realistically at play here, or what we're already experiencing, what's on ground. The president actually knew how the country was during the time of his predecessor. My question to you is, did the president overpromise and then Nigerians actually latching on to his promises, believing in him? And then when he came on board, he under-delivered. Could that be what the problem is? Then the second question is, how do we know that an Atiku Abubakar or a Peter Obi would have fared better, considering what the economic realities were when this administration took over?
Good. Esther, Tinubu knew. That was why he told us he would continue from where Buhari stopped.
He knew.
And he was coming to consolidate it. He knew what was going on in the economy. He knew everything. When he was telling you, let the poor breathe, maybe you thought he was speaking for you. He never knew that the same stylishly and freakishly way Buhari came into office, that was the same thing he did. He now entered. Of course, he could not handle it, so he wanted to help himself first. That is why nobody is explaining to you where your money is going into. No explanation, nothing. He knew quite well. They didn't come to lead Nigeria. They came to destroy Nigeria. You can see it.
Barrister Darlington, I want to take your mind back to when. I want to take your mind back to when Fashola was the governor of Lagos State. There was something he introduced. Every 100 days, Fashola would grant a press conference where he will reel out all that has been accomplished, right, in Lagos State in the last 100 days. Every 100 days, that was what he was doing. It was a method of transparently putting it out to the people. It was like an auditing of where they're developing, what they're doing, how much money was spent, where monies were borrowed to do what and what. That was what Fashola did throughout as the governor of Lagos State. And I noticed at the time that the local government chairmen were also emulating that. So every 50 days or 100 days, you see them call the press and give out a rundown of all the developmental strides, or, updating or upgrading or whatever it is they are doing within their various local governments. Why I'm bringing your mind back to that is that one would have thought that if this administration wanted to rebrand, because the perception from the people at the time was they do not trust the administration based on all that surrounded the president at the time. What happened with the president's administration being transparent? Sometimes what they say is not what is realistically on ground. Why is that lacuna there?
Answer. So you want to catch them. You want to see that they are stealing your money, Abi? Oh, you want them to be transparent so that you will see how they are stealing your money, Esther.
But that is the essence. If you're utilizing, these are taxpayers' monies.
Who told you? As long as they are in leadership, it has got their money. Esther, it is their money. They can use it anyhow. I am asking you here. The 20 trillion they have taken, they have borrowed for the last 1 year. Did they see any explanation? Hold on. Did somebody tell you? I was thinking by June 12th, they will tell you where that money enter, how they use it, where it enter, so that you and I can verify. Answer, they will never be transparent. We are not transparent in Lagos. Hold on. All the successive governors in Lagos State was not by appointment, so that they will hold forth for them. They are just cashiers. So why would you go to Abuja and expect a different thing? It's not possible. It can never be. There is an extra rule about in CBN Act that you must not borrow more than 1 trillion from CBN. How much have been borrowed so far? Over 4 trillion naira. And no hope of paying it. The same thing Buhari did in office. That is why they will never prosecute him for that money he took away. That is what they will never. Because they have soiled their own hands. Answer, you can see what is going on. Unfortunately, gullible Nigeria don't even know what is going on. They don't know. Every day they come and make speeches. Don't worry. We are building an economy. They didn't ask them. The ones you promise more, your party promised us through Buhari, where is it? Where is it? Out of all the things they promised, not one single one. They have started 1 year is gone. Promises. Yeah, they are borrowing money they cannot pay. So you are talking too much, Esther. Remember, when PDP was there, Okwesiwala was publishing allocations to all the states and local governments. Every month you publish it. When these people came into, what did they do? They get this thing, they threw it away. You are talking of allocation to the states. Were you not there when they told you that they gave all the governors 30 billion naira? 30 billion naira. All of a sudden, people were wondering, where is the money? Until Makinde, a PDP governor in Oyo State, rose up and said, no, they didn't give us any money. All their APC governors, all of them were silent because it came from their party, it came from their leader. Answer, that is what is going on. Deceit. Propaganda of the highest order. Deceit.
Barrister
Darlington. In these people. That can never be true. A snake will always be long. I've been saying it.
Barrister Darlington.
A snake will always be long. A leopard cannot change its course.
The secretary of the All Progressives Congress has urged Nigerians to pray for President Bola Tinubu, and that is Senator Ajibola Basiru. He's urging Nigerians to pray for President Tinubu for his administration to succeed in piloting the country's affairs. And this statement was made today after observing the 2 Rakat prayers marking this year's Eid al-Adha celebrations at the Osogbo Central Eid Praying Ground. So, is it prayers now that the president needs? If the president already has the economic solution, what is the problem with us seeing the activation of that solution?
Esther, during the last administration, a chief of army staff told us to go and pray concerning insecurity. That will tell you how bad things have become. A chief of army staff, he told us to go and pray about insecurity in Nigeria. You will now ask yourself, this is an army chief, what is he doing in office? This thing they are telling you, they don't tell us to do it for Buhari. We should pray for Buhari to succeed. With all the complacency, with all the quietness, with all the mumu we did under Buhari, what came out of it? Did anybody disturb Buhari throughout his 8 years? Answer, what came out of it? They have started. Look at the people asking us to. It is always their people. They are not even embarrassed with the type of leadership Tinubu is providing. They are not embarrassed. They are not even calling him out. Look at how they are just trying to support him. Because apparently something is going down to them. Something is through the back door. They are getting something. That's why they are kept quiet all of a sudden. All of a sudden they are kept quiet too. The same people who told you yesterday, 18 power, they were even begging the Igbos, why not join in complaining that you are hungry? That When we tell you how some people behave, they will hide their character and only project your own as if you are the worst. You are the worst devil in Nigeria. They will never do anything wrong with Tinubu because something is going on. You may not know. I know how they behave. Something is going on. If they are not getting anything, they would have been shouting from the rooftop. Something is going on.
Mr. Darlington, let me come on to this particular development. It's barely 3 days. On Wednesday, Nnamdi Kanu will be appearing in court. The reason why I'm bringing up this conversation is that a lot of issues or updates on his case has been prevailing since the past 1 month. Just on Friday, there was a report that Nnamdi Kanu had escaped from DSS custody, which of course was not true. But the question is, why would such a report come out from nowhere? Who cooked up such a report and brought it out? And that's actually generated, quite a lot of conversations and created conspiracy theories. Now, Aloy Jimako, the legal lead, the counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, also made mention of the fact that there are criminals who want to stall Nnamdi Kanu's bail application because anytime he's to appear in court, there's usually one insecurity or the other that takes place in the southeast. Now, since it is barely 3 days, the Ohaneze Youth Council has said that the Biafra agitator is facing the most violation of human fundamental rights in the world. And he's urging the federal government to discontinue the case of the Biafra agitator and grant him unconditional release. The national president is Ibuayaka, and he said Justice Binta Nyako of the Abuja Federal High Court has turned the Nigerian court into a theater of dramatic exhibition, making a mockery of the courts and projecting the country as a banana republic or jungle state due to Kanu. So the question now is, Barrister Darlington, with this development, as we do know, there's a lot of anticipation in regards to that. The anticipation as to how the case will be on June 19, which is on Wednesday this week, based on all the cases and appeals that have been written by the legal counsel. As of Friday, the legal counsel claimed that the DSS are frustrating the efforts to meet with Nnamdi Kanu. They said they give them conditions. One of the conditions is the fact that they must meet with him one after the other. They cannot just meet with him together like that. And that frustrated them. They had to leave. So the question now is this. With what the Ohaneze is actually stating as to Nnamdi Kanu's fundamental human right, would you agree or dispute their claim that Justice Binta Nyako has turned the Federal High Court to a theater, a place of drama whenever it becomes when Nnamdi Kanu needs to appear in court? And of course, the mutilation of his fundamental human rights.
The woman is playing a script given to her. She's even helpless. I'm telling you, she is playing a script given to her. Don't deceive yourself. That is a fact. All of them, they know the true nature of that case. But they cannot help it because they have been teleguided. We have seen it several. Didn't you hear what Bukachua said? The man at the National Assembly, didn't you hear what he said? So do you need anybody to tell you what is going on? Look at the case that went up to the Supreme Court. The Kizuna said they should take it back to the lower court. What does it tell you? If you're a lawyer, you will know what is going on here.
Barrister Darlington, according to the statement by Ibuayaka, he said Kanu's prosecution is pure tribal victimization, chronic hatred, oppressiveness, and ethnic cleansing.
That is it. Because you ask yourself, I just gave the example of Binance now because they are from USAB. These are people who have committed crime against Nigeria, foreigners. They were asked to go home just like that.
Their case is still in court. It's just that for now.
Because you didn't hear what was said. They have asked them to go home. Answer. They have asked them to go home. They said the case has been withdrawn. Leave that thing. They have asked them to go home. Which case is it on?
Barrister Darlington, 16 U.S. lawmakers wrote to President Joe Biden to speak with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the case of the Binance executive. The Binance executive had also alleged that the federal government, through its interrogators, wanted them to pay some bribe money, which they declined, and that was the reason why Gambarian was still being detained within their custody. As of Friday, we heard that, the tax evasion matter has been, thrown off while they're looking at other issues being posed against Binance. So the question now is this: if this particular matter can be brought in like this, what about the case of Nnamdi Kanu? There are a lot of projections about it.
So the major reason why they are holding the Binance is not tax matters.
Yes, on tax-related matters. Yes.
Okay, the 15-count charge that they brought against Nnamdi Kanu, has it not been quashed by the erudite Professor Mike Ezokome before the court? No, was it not quashed? So what else are they holding Nnamdi Kanu for? Tell me. This is something that is agitating the mind of the Igbos. Tomorrow, the Igbos are agitating. You will not even tell the whole world what you did to them. We have been focusing on the agitation. Thank God the world is not a global village. Everything that is happening in Nigeria to against people, we are documenting it. The world is seeing it. We are documenting it. Every inch of what is going on, we are documenting it. Thank God the United Nations have written against concerning Nnamdi Kanu. Ejimako have documented the 5 cases, the 5 judgments in favor of Nnamdi Kanu, which the federal government of Nigeria refused to obey. Meanwhile, they are releasing terrorists in Buala territory. They are releasing them every day. And Buala did not see anything wrong in that. He did not see anything wrong in that at all. It was Igbo that brought terrorists in the north. It is Igbo, so it is IPOB. To tell you how people can be very mischievous. Look at what Nigeria has suffered for over 15 years now because of terrorists. Who brought it here? Is it not the north? They said it themselves. They even boasted about it. And yet people like Wole Soyinka, Bayo Nonoga, Showore, they cannot comment on that. In the southwest here, these same terrorists have surrounded the entire region. They killed the daughter of their leader, Afeni Fere leader. None of them could talk or they didn't open their mouth. They did not even challenge them. They kept quiet. They kept quiet. But every time they be pushing people to be IPOB and Igbos. Shame on them. Shame on them.
Barrister Darlington, there's quite a lot within that is actually going on within our political landscape. But one of the things that was witnessed post-election was the religious and ethnic sentiment. It became so rife. How do we bridge that divide? Because the problem now is the fact that the economy is stifling is affecting everyone, regardless of their tribe, regardless of their political leanings or religious affiliations. It is affecting everybody. So when will that unification and cohesion come? When will that common thread? Well, because ideally when all of this division is at play, there are certain elements who want it like that. And that should not be the focus. Oh, you are Igbo, I'm Yoruba, your Hausa, please go, your place is place of terrorists. You people like doing ritual killing and kidnapping and or whatnot. How do we resolve this problem? And how do we have that national voice? Because at the stage it is now, we cannot continue to have this back and forth as to who did what and what region the person did what. So how should that be immediately resolved? Let's start with Nnamdi Kanu. How would you advise the federal government to do? Because on Wednesday he's to appear. And is it possible they can try to see if the situation in the southeast can become calm? If they're able to include or infuse a political will. That's one. Two, the economy of the Nigerian government. All the policies that they have put in place, when will they begin to actualize it? Already they've gotten money. How fast will they do that? These are the questions.
Elsa, all the advice this government need, I have said it in the past, but they refuse to listen. So, in fact, how can they small me? Am I the one to advise them?
Well, that's the essence of having these conversations. Maybe they don't know what to do.
Please. They have chosen to do what they want to do. They said that a dog that wants to die does not hear the whistle of the master. If you have made up your mind, there is nothing anybody can do.
Is it possible that they do not even care? Is it possible that they don't care? They don't even listen.
If they care, do you need anybody to tell them to do the needful? When there was a hashtag Every Power here, what came out of it? Did they listen to you? Apart from a few grants they gave some people here and there, is that not the end of the matter? Did that solve the problem? Hold on. Did it solve the problem? That's what I'm telling you, that they don't want to lead. They came to chop money. They came to chop money, and you can see it. That's why somebody wants to go and buy a presidential jet. As if all the jets that Buhari left there, all of them have become rickety. They can no longer be useful. Hold on, no. If Tinubu enter commercial flight, what will happen? Esther, are you aware that in the Western world, some governments, some presidents, they don't even have their own presidential jet? Are you aware?
Obviously true, yes.
Good. Thank God. Wala Soyinka will not campaign with that, though. He will not tell Tinubu, why do you need the presidential jet now? Shawara will not talk about that, though. They will come and give you 1,001 reasons why Tinubu need the presidential jet. They'll come and tell you.
All right, Barrister Darlington, I'm going to keep you.
They're going to spend that money they want to borrow. You think they want bank and IMF clear what you do with your money? No. As long as you're owing them, you pay that money.
I'm going to keep you on the line. I'm going to keep you.
They read that. They will not follow it.
I'm going to keep you on the line because I need to take phone calls. I need to get reaction. Remember, this conversation is the analyst, and the people.
Until people start saying, we are dying, maybe that's when they will hear. When people start dropping in the streets.
It's already happening, actually, Barrister Darlington. It's not like people will start. It's already happening. That's why I asked the question. How soon will the economic policies of this administration become reflective? When will it begin to reflect? It needs to happen now.
Let me tell you when. As we come close to 2026, you will see what will happen. Esther, go and mark my word. 2026, you will see. Rice may even be sold for 15,000 naira back.
Because of 2027 elections.
Of course. That is the deceit they use in Lagos here to deceive everybody. Esther, that is the truth. Go and quote me.
Barrister Darlington.
All this money they are hiding now, they will use it now to flood the market with food, imported food, everything.
Barrister Darlington, I'm going to keep you on the line.
Yes.
I'm going to keep you on the line, okay?
This is working.
I'm going to keep you on the line, but let's take phone calls, all right? Let's hear what people have to say. And maybe there are some questions I'll be throwing at you, all right? So just stay on the line. All right, it's time for us to hear from you what you have to say concerning the conversation we've had so far, the various issues that actually took place in the week, and the response of the presidency on some of these issues. The number to call is 0700 903 903 903, 0700 903 903 903, and the WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. Hello, welcome to the Political Spotlight. Name and location, please. Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Yes, your name and location, please.
My name is Good News.
Good News. That's a good name. Please, where are you calling us from?
I'm from Apayam, but I'm here in the Lagos.
Okay, you're in Lagos. All right, please go ahead. Good News.
Yes. The place I want to tell you is since President has come, since May 2023.
Yes.
And you mentioned also a fair oxygen is done. But now, since that day, this is 1 year in the office. The money we needed us, we not go pay again for oxygen. Where the money? They're waiting to use the money do.
That's the question.
And this president, this PLP president, Atiku, if someone comes say, then see they pay the money. But our president says oxygen is done. Where these people take us to? Now, future people will suffer in the street. All this money, what do they use all this money to do? About the Nnamdi Kanu case, what Nnamdi Kanu will do, and what terrorists and bandits and all these killing people and do? Which one will be the worst of the thing? Then see they keep that man in the prison. That man is a family man. But tomorrow they go cut boundary. Tomorrow they go cut this one. Before you know, they say they don't depend. They don't depend. But they see the key people.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Good news. I need to take more calls. That's the question. All right, please. We need to just have a minute when you call in, so we can take as many calls as possible. All right, that's how we're going to run the conversation, so we can have people calling as many as possible, get your responses. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you? Hello.
Hello, Esther.
How are you? Yes, good evening. Good evening. Name and location, please.
Happy Sunday.
Same to you. What's your name?
Okay. This is Nnamdi calling from Spain.
All right, please go ahead. You have a minute.
Okay, let me just touch and let me just, even if it's not, I doesn't watch it. On this Asari.
Yes.
You know those days when we are children. A child want to try to forget about stop fighting. You just stop him from start fighting. You let him fight very well. But anytime a guy start to fight, don't say maybe separate him within 30 seconds. You separate the fight. You see the fight, the basic will be happy every time want to fight. The reason is this. What I mean is this: when they are still fight, they are still. This guy will not have even somebody to defend him. It will be fight. He will fight to defend himself. Even his bodyguard will be fighting to defend themselves. That is why the house have not seen that. That is why every time he's keep making noise, ranting. I wish him well. This is sorry, I'm referring.
Okay.
Esther, on obedience. Obedience. We don't. There's nobody that obedient is vulnerable in Nigeria. People that suffering, the poor Nigerians are obedient. You as a journalist that cannot do your work properly, that they will tell you what to do before you, in order to have problems, you're obedient. Nigerians that are passing a lot of things, even apart from politicians, everyone is obedient. You see, people like this Buhari and all these things, when they talk, you know, if they go to the street and they talk, you see the people beat them up. It's only in this thing and nobody asks them question. You see, that is why I'm angry with the Nigerian. I don't know what they really want. You see, the kind of people you bring their they bring their news. This Kayode, this Boala.
Hello. All right, 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you, sir?
Thank you, my dear. It's Nemeka on the line.
Nemeka, thank you for calling in. Please go ahead.
My duty to gather lecture at the big town. Well, Analyst. So one thing about Dali Alwara, Wulisoyaka, all of them. You know what I call them? Propaganda team. Propaganda team led by APC to be putting corruption in the society. To leave the real matter to be talking nonsense. These people they don't know what Nigeria is facing today, Esther. What is in Nigeria now is hunger, which does not mean you are the region, you are tribe, or you are political party color. Before they will realize,
but Shawara also cast aspersions on this administration. In an in-depth interview we had with him on June 12th, he literally, said a lot of things about this administration. He said this administration does not know what they're doing.
No, Madam Esther, listen to me. Okay. They will present somebody who will be talking like things against them, but it's working for them. Just like this man that left Labour Party the other day.
Doing okay.
It's inside Labour Party working for APC. I'm for the judge. It's PDP working for people. We know all those things. But we are telling them that if others are in the land and they are not talking into what in the rotten society, if that can appear, you will consume all of them. We are telling the gospel truth. They will thought they are putting dust in our eyes. People are losing their families in insecurity.
Right.
There's hunger in the town. One cup of garri is 800 naira. One cup of rice is 1716.
All right,
telling us about people and the evidence. They should be careful.
Thank you.
They should be careful.
Let's take more calls, okay? Thank you so much. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. The WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Yes, what's your name, please?
Yes. Happy evening. I'm a happy Father's Day to all men.
Yes, happy Father's Day. What's your name?
Yes. My name is Mr. Oscar. I'm calling for Calgary.
All right, Mr. Oscar, please go ahead. You have a minute.
Okay, a minute is not enough, but I have to. I will be brief.
Yeah, please be.
What I really have in mind is what your guest, Mr. Daliti, my noble learned colleague, what he really explained. You know, these both not really they are silent or they are quiet or because they really want to focus on their business activity. No. I think this is the time for the Igbos also come together, especially those who are well educated and many among them, to invest on the propaganda.
Okay.
Because I see that the rate in media in Nigeria, the work they are doing is very, very high. The media can portray you to the limelight. They can also down you if case may be. So the work of the media is very, very wide because of the information dissemination. Not because the Igbo they are quiet. So they are not quiet. I asked my friend, and I'm very sure I know a family in Igbo land, in the state, and Abia. I asked him, Igbo, are they not majority in Nigeria? He said, Igbo, that is to know my prof. I asked my prof, are Igbo not majority in Nigeria? He said, yes. So nobody can override them. Nobody. Whatever the Kubata is saying, just talk is cheap. Maybe it's looking for track. Nobody. Can you override the majority people?
Thank you.
Also, an elephant, the way I see them. So it's just for some people well educated one to come up and invest on also propaganda.
All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Your 1 minute is exhausted. In fact, you took 1 minute 48 seconds. Let me take some WhatsApp messages as fast as I can. Taiwo from Otta says, I concur hook, line and sinker with Barrister Darlington that the judiciary is a problem of Nigerian democracy. Judiciary would have cancelled the last election if it were to be an Igbo man. If an election is conducted in a controversial manner, it is a duty of the judiciary to cancel or correct the wrongs by INEC. We held nowhere if judiciary continued in this manner. Taiwo from Otta. Taiwo, all right, thank you. Now, from Adeyemi Kamaru from Satellite Town, Lagos. The problem with Obi followers are enormous. Once you go against their principle and criticize him, they go all out to rain unprintable words as way of attack. Okay. Evening, Esther. Greetings to Mr. Darlington, my man of the year. You can see that this government's priority is to increase salaries of cash and carry judiciary that brought him into power 300%, unlike civil servants, paying them peanut, considering the nightmare they have put Nigerians into just because of 2027. Also, 90 billion naira for pilgrimage for loyalty of some religious sect. Is this not corruption, destroying the main institutions just for their own gain? Imagine 21 billion naira for your VP lounge, where they have turned the people to beggars and Amajiri in the midst of plenty. Also, 160 million naira cars to senators, like they say. Loyalty for this government is cash and carry. Objection and mortuary. Everybody get agenda with their mercenary enterprise. Now they want to buy jet for your president. It shows that this government is government of waste by waste for waste. It's a shame the worst of us is ruling the best of us. Truly, there was a country. Dio from Fagba. All right, Dio, well done. Thank you for your message. And this another long one. As far back as March 2021, the incompetent Muhammadu Buhari's administration borrowed about $2.6 billion to construct the Lagos-Ibadan Railway, right when Nigerian debate was 33.2 trillion naira. Now, the Tinubu government has gone on a borrowing spree of $2.25 billion, a continuation of fraud and hopelessness. Showara is sad, entitled, and angry that he's not getting the attention and support Peter Obi is getting. He feels like he has been fighting and advocating for so long for one man to come and take all the glory. He has nothing on Peter Obi. Showara is a man with... Okay, all right. Please, when we send messages, we're not meant to defame or insult anybody. You can logically put your words across, all right? It's very important. All right, good evening, Esther. The New York Times are 100% right on their publication about the present Nigeria economy as one of the worst economies in the world. Secondly, IMF and World Bank aren't helping Africa economy, especially Nigeria's economy. Buhari, Tinubu and APC had destroyed Nigeria's economy, first in Africa, 10th in the world during Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's government beyond repair on their 9 years in power. From Iwoha Ikechukwu. And the same Iwoha Ikechukwu says, what the Ohaneze Indibo youth leader said about the violation of the fundamental human right of Nnamdi Kanu is 100% the violation of MNK right by the Nigerian government, and propaganda against Igbos are worse than the 1994 Rwanda genocide. From Iwoha Ikechukwu. All right. Esther, good evening. Greetings to Barrister Darlington. There is a known hatred to the Igbos, and federal government has taken upon themselves to subjugate the Igbos for a known just cause. I'm appealing to Nigerians to start asking questions. 20 trillion naira spent in 1 year, no account, and are still borrowing more. The future Nigerian has been okay. I don't understand this this last sentence you sent. Daniel from Ushidi, kindly resend, please, so I can coherently read it out. Chooks from Ushidi says the federal government has no case against Nnamdi Kanu, and he's out to be released unconditionally. He's not the problem of this country. He's only fighting and protecting his people from the oppressors. The real terrorists are being pampered in this country, whereas a mere freedom fighter who has sacrificed all to liberate his people is tagged and treated as a terrorist by the federal government. It is quite pathetic how Nigeria's minor on major and major on minor. All right, thank you, Chooks from Ushudi. Okay, Nnamdi Kanu have become a bone stuck in the throat of the Nigerian government. Spitting it out has become impossible without an operation, which may be very dangerous, and swallowing it will mean committing suicide. Ima from Ijibu. Good morning, from Adeyemi Kamaru from Satellite Town, Lagos. About minimum wage, media should let public know that minimum wage is for level 1, step 1. With allowance level, one can collect up to 180,000 per month now. Not for all civil service. You should let people know the truth about government. All right, thank you so much. The number to call is 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call, 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. What's your name and location, please? Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. How are you? Your name is?
I'm fine. Darida Stephen.
All right, Mr. Stephen. Where is your location?
Yeah, I'm calling you from Mushin.
From Mushin. All right, please go ahead. You have a minute.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want to. I've been listening to Barrister Darlington all evening, and everything that Barrister Darlington is saying is actually true, right? But the question to ask now is, are the Igbos ready? And if they are ready, are the Igbos really united? Is there a coalition of the Igbo nation, to really come forward? Because if we are talking about marginalization, they are marginalized people. I watched the presidential election where Igbos, it was like a betrayal from the Senate House to individual candidacy. Nobody was ready to step down for anybody. No Igbo candidate was ready to support any concrete Igbo candidacy. These are the issues. Until the Igbo man sit down and call his brother and say, "Come, let us build." Because the way you dress your bed, that's how you lie on it. The people are seeing you from outside and look, this is how these people are.
All right.
You do them like this, they will just scatter. You talk about the Yoruba people, they are united in a cause. They will be fighting themselves, but when it comes to a cause, they are united to achieve that cause. The man is not like that. I'm sorry to sound this way on air, but that's the truth. And that is why it looks as if they are being skinned out of, national issues.
So, according to you, Mr. Stephen, until the Igbos decide to unite, that is the only way they can become a strong force, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. They are not united.
All right.
They are not. So, for a cause. Now, secondly, what's it called?
Stephen, your 1 minute is exhausted. We need to take more calls. In fact, you've taken 2 minutes, please. All right. We need to take more calls. Your 1 minute is exhausted. We need to take more calls. Okay, thank you. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. And then the WhatsApp number is 0817 175 6338. Hello, welcome to the Political Spotlight. What's your name?
Good
evening.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine.
All right. What?
Good evening to Mr. Darlington.
All right. Good evening to you
How
too.
what he's saying, is very
You didn't say your name and your location. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
This is VC calling from Japan.
All right. Go ahead. You have a minute.
What I'm saying is this, that all what Mr. Darlington said, but only that if the Igbos can only come together as a united entity.
Hello? Can you speak? Can you project better?
If the Igbos can come together as
Yes.
a united nation to fight their cause, they'll go a long way.
Okay.
Look at the way they are. Look at Lagos State now. They can come together just the way they are building Lagos. Also go back home, build themselves, build the East. You see, they will go further. Because all this is that because they feel that the Igbos are so divided. In every country of the state of the Nigeria you go now, you see an Igbo man doing very wonderfully well. And you look at Wala that is saying all these things. Go to the north, you see they are full of poverty. Not to say you see poverty. But I'm not talking about it. They only talk about Igbo man who only do his business, face his business, and that is why the jealousy is there. I say it's jealous because you see an Igbo man come in the state. You think sometimes it becomes something.
All right.
So
Thank
that
you.
is the jealousy I see.
All right.
Then
Thank
looking
you.
at the show, what you were saying, all the years that we fighting this or that, so people came out within what and people followed that because of integrity. I mean, so if they are trying to pull him down in order to make other way, but we see that within all these things, we believe that with time everything will have a shape.
All right.
That's
Thank
my
you.
own belief.
Thank you so much. Okay, 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. The WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. 0817 1756 338. Hello. Hello. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Yeah, good evening.
Please, what's your name?
Esther, good evening.
Good evening. Name and location, please.
Yeah, my name is Dr. My name is Dr.
Hello, you have a minute, oh.
Nnamdi is my name.
All right, go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Hello?
No.
All right, your network.
The subject matter.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Oh, your network is poor. Kindly call us back, please. We're having issues with that particular call. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. And the WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Evening.
Welcome to the Political
Well done.
Spotlight. What's your name?
My name is Victor.
All right, Victor, go ahead.
Yes, my first contribution is I just want to ask whether this country is a secular state or not. Hello?
Please go ahead. Go ahead with what you want to say. You have a minute.
So, then number two, the INEC and the Judiciary, unless they change them, unless they are independent, if not so, come any day, any year, whatever election, they still rig the election. They still rig it. Those in power, if they are sincere, if they have conscience, got there through dubious means, and we see what the electoral inauguration or electoral whatever and the Supreme Court did. So if you continue, then the INEC and the independent by the government.
All right, thank you.
That's
Your 1 minute has
We
been
are all
exhausted.
zero.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let me take some messages. Esther, the silence of Nigerians has made this government to legitimize evil, has made them turning laws to lawlessness, dreams to nightmares, brilliant minds to low-grade mind, secured country to a gangster paradise, turning people to beggars and amarjaries in the midst of plenty. turning a booming nation to economic disaster, pocketing institution and make them ineffective, turning journalists to eye service propagandists, all under 1 year of nightmare of Mr. President. Like we said, if the foundation that brought you into power is not credible, you can't be credible. All right, Dio from Fagba. Dio, that's your second message this evening. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening. Yes, good evening. Name and location, please.
Miss Emmanuel calling from Misolo.
Hello?
Yeah, this is Mr. Emmanuel calling from Misolo.
All right, Mr. Emmanuel, you have a minute. Go ahead, please.
Esther, please, you are this past message.
Hello?
If I use Airtel,
Okay.
this line is not going. That
Right.
is number one. Please,
Okay.
this national radio, there is something that is going on right now that AP is doing. So I want to try to send this
Hello?
to you, if you
Okay.
can send me your personal number.
Okay. You can
But
send you
if
can
I
send
want
what you
to-
want to send to our WhatsApp, which is 0817 1756338.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You can send it there. We'll see it.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
0700 903 903. We'll take one more call and then speak with Barrister Darlington to wrap up the program. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. And the WhatsApp number is 0817 1756338. Hello. Good evening. Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome to the Political
Good
Spotlight.
evening.
Yes, what's your name, please? Hello?
Austin calling from Elebo.
All right, Mr. Austin, go ahead.
Austin calling from Elebo.
All right, go ahead, please. You have a minute, sir.
The problem we are having in Nigeria is, number one, is high neck.
Okay.
High neck is our problem. They don't give us the good result. They don't give us what we elected them for to do. Secondly, Igbos are a problem. Igbos, for sounding this way, but Igbos are their problems. Igbos are not united. They have different opinions. So I think it's very hard for them to unite. So that's the problem we're having. Because if Igbos can unite, all these problems will be solved.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like to speak with Barrister Darlington so that, I'm sure he heard most of your comments on what you had to say. And then, of course, we'll wrap up this particular segment of the Political Spotlight of today's edition. Barrister Darlington, all right, what do you have to say as for us to wind up the program, sir?
Esther,
Sir?
please and please. People should stop all this noise that the Igbos are not united.
Okay.
It is a fallacy.
All right.
It is not true. We are the most united. How can we be so peaceful yet we are not united? Is it not a contradiction? Hold on. Who told you that Igbos are not united? When Obi came out in 2023, where did he get the bulk of his votes? Did he not clear the entire Southeast and South? He took Lagos, took Abuja. Who gave him majority of his votes?
Barrister Darlington, I think in 2023 it was all tribes. It was just not peculiar to the
No,
Southeast.
but
It was
you
all
are telling
tribes.
me that okay, the other contestants, how many votes did they get in the Southeast? These Igbos are not united. Let them go and tell me what APC and PDP scored in the Southeast. Who are the people that dominated the Southeast in terms of population? All these things are fallacy, propaganda to put you down. The Southwest are no more united. When Awolowo wanted to become president, who shut him down? Was it not his own people? Esther, was it not his own people? When Obasanjo wanted to become the United Nations president, who shut him down? Was it not Wole Soyinka and his people? We are not united. Hold on, we are not united. Are they more united than us? It is just because people don't understand this history. Go to Alaba, go to Ladipo, go to all the places where the Igbos are doing business. Answer, please, how many times did you see them quarreling and fighting because of leadership in those markets? Answer me. Let us start from there. These are the people where you will see a large number of people do business. Some even have 3-4 people. They are Igbo brothers in the same shop. And for fighting and killing themselves. Mention any other tribe in Nigeria that does the same thing. Please, you say this propaganda, I will not buy it. We are the most united. That was what we had to resist 3 work hours at the federal government for 30 months. Until they brought somebody to the matter.
All right, Barrister Darlington. Barrister Darlington, we need to wrap up now. No. We need to wrap up. Thank you so much.
That propaganda, please go and look inside your own house and see whether you are united because the Igbos.
All right, Barrister Darlington, thank you so much for taking your time to share your perspective on the political spotlight this evening and for educating and giving us a breakdown from the questions asked to or posed to you. I sincerely do appreciate. Once again, happy Father's Day.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, and then we've come to an end of the political spotlight. We had as our analyst via the telephone, Barrister Darlington. My name is Esther Wachuku. You can actually subscribe to my YouTube channel at Estic Media on YouTube. That's ESTIQMEDIA. And of course, my social media handles, Esther Wans on Instagram, Esther Wachuku on Facebook, as well as Esther Wachuku on Twitter. That is X. Thank you for being part of the program. Have yourself a wonderful holiday.